Okay, so I still can't figure out how to beat the Ender Dragon. So how did you beat him?
床にベッドを置いて爆発させたので、彼を私に近づけるだけで彼を倒すことができました。それがあなたが最後にできることだからです。
I literally have no idea what you just said. But anyways, Bob, how did you beat him?
Well, you see here, it's actually quite simple. All you gotta do is...
Why, salutations, my fellow non-humanoids!
Wait a minute, what the fuck?
My name is Christopher Cupo, and today I will be showing you my thesis statement on the marvelous man himself, Stephen King. Now, let's get to it, shall we?
My thesis was on how Stephen King became known as the King of Horror through the combinations of psychological and mystery surrounding them. Now, some of the works that we used in this example were The Shining, It, and a short story, Survivor Type. Now, as for the summary, there are 3 key factors that tie into how Stephen King is the King of Horror.
You can take a shot at every time that I say King, because it's probably going to happen a lot.
Those 3 factors include the setting in which a story takes place in, the suspense of where a story can go, and last and most importantly, the sanity of a character and how far it can go. I personally like to call them the 3 S's. But what do I exactly mean by this anyway? Well, for a good horror story to work, it has to have a good setting to set the mood, joke intended. It has to be suspenseful, building up to the climax of the horror, and a person's sanity becoming more and more corrupt as each scene progresses, making each situation worse. If you didn't notice my hint from before, that's okay. I hinted that I paired up these 3 factors with these 3 examples each. I'll briefly go over this. Survivor Type was used to explain setting to show not everything has to look scary, but feel scary by tapping into what humans fear the most. In this case, being stranded alone on an island with nobody around to help you. It was used to explain suspense throughout the clues that were given to the group of main characters each scene to figure out who this mysterious clown, Pennywise, is. The Shining was used to explain Sandy being betrayed by the novel as Jack is possessed by unknown entities in the hotel, causing him to lose control and try to kill his wife and kid. These 3 factors are used to make you, the viewer, scared as you get sucked into the story through King's horrifying level of writing that will make you shit yourself.
Okay, now, before we move on to my favorite paragraph of the thesis paper, does anyone have any questions?
あなたが話していたので、みんな昔のように去りました。あなたはそれを理解していませんか?
I have no idea what you just said there, but let's continue!
Now then, I would like to share with you one of my personal favorite paragraphs while doing this thesis. In order to explain, there are a few major parts to look at that make horror stories truly scary. The setting a novel takes place in, the person's sanity, and the suspense that builds up to the scare. All these elements are used in King's stories and taken up a notch from traditional horror novels. He utilizes these elements, not just to scare people, but to let that fear sink into the audience's heads as they progress through the story. Now then, I would like to take a moment and point out this sentence right here, and what do I exactly mean by this? In order for something to be really scary, it has to stay in place. Something unsettling to the point that the image gets put into the viewer's head for shock value. Something that doesn't feel exactly normal. Like, it could be anything. It could be this creature, it could be this thing, your grandma, that fucking thing, I don't know what the Now, let me pull up 2 examples just to kind of clarify what I'm talking about. We'll take video number 1 over here, and video number 2 over here. And we're gonna kind of see which one's a little bit more disturbing than the other one. So, we'll take video number 1 first. So, what's scarier? Something that pops out of you right away, for a few seconds, or something that just sits there menacingly.
I can't really remember.
You can't remember.
No, I can't.
Maybe it was about Danny. Maybe it was about him. I think we should discuss Danny. I think we should discuss what should be done.
Yeah, both of them can be pretty scary, you can argue that, but video number 2 just kind of makes it a little bit more memorable because it sits there for a little bit more longer than video number 1 has. In conclusion, that was not the conclusion. Stephen King is the king of horror by combining the setting of the story, the suspense building up, and making characters lose their sanity with clever writing and horror aspects that sink into the viewer's head, making it all the more memorable.
Okay, well, that wraps up our time here for today. Haha, I don't have a watch. So, does anyone have any further questions before we end this? And they all left. They all left. What do you know? I'm all alone.